What's up, y'all? We're back again with another video, and you saw the thumbnail, you read the title, you know what you're in for. Let's get right into it. This sample was inspired by a song by GIVEON called Garden Kisses. Love it. This gotta be one of my favorite songs of all time. I've heard that song so many times, hundreds of times, that I cannot get tired of it. So I was listening to it again and it inspired me to make this. Let me make this really clear. I'm not talented enough to make something as pretty as that song, but I tried making something on that same style. So I ended up making this, which is more my style. I took some elements of that song and applied it here. So we started with the bass. This is how they sound. And I believe it just repeats from that. It's a pretty simple bass line. It's not really complicated, but it plays the notes of those two chords. If you don't have a bass, you can use Trillian, the Rickenbacker bass. Pretty popular, is a really good sound. Or you can even use one-shots. After we have that bass sound, following that same reference from the GIVEON song, some Rhodes. It just sounds so good, bro. I can never get tired of Rhodes sounds playing minor ninths. I believe it's a F minor ninth with the G. I just brought this G an octave down, a C minor ninth, which is just playing chord with no inversions. I clicked this in. I actually use the stem feature for these chords. I love the stem feature. I think I talked about it on each one of these videos. And it's just so good. You can get chords down and ideas down really quick. For me to get to this sound, I had to pull the velocity all the way down, not all the way down, you know, a lot, and I used this Keyscape preset, JZ800 Crystal Dream Phase, so we get this sound. Really good. If I wanted to lean more on the Garden Kisses reference, I would probably go with one of these Rhodes sounds, which are more classic. But following my style, I really like the Crystal Rose there. So it had those two sounds, which are really good and a really good bass for us. I did something that I don't usually do. I recorded vocals. I'm gonna let the vocals play with the bass so you can listen. You can even hear the metronome. These are my vocals. I don't usually record vocals. I feel like I do it once every couple of months. I use this microphone, which I'm using right now. It's a cheap dynamic microphone. I would recommend getting a dynamic microphone if you're a producer first, like I am, because I record these vocals with my speakers on. The dynamic microphone, it only gets the signal if you talk right into it. So I was able to just like leave the microphone right in my mouth and just mumble this stuff. The way that I recorded it, I used Auto-Tune Artist. It's a lot of auto-tune, as you would imagine. Pro Q3 cutting up the highs, and I used Mixbox for an EQ. What I actually did, I'm pretty sure I pitch shifted. At some point, I pitch shifted this up or down. I don't remember. This isn't the original pitch that I sang on. Consolidated the vocals. These are the takes and the cuts that I did for each one of those. I consolidated it, put in a new mixer track, put Mixbox Pro Q3 on this one, just for Hall of Vintage Verb on this one, which is the most ambient one, and just routed. You can look down here that I routed each one of these just for this other track, the vocal sum. So they're not going to the master, they're going through the vocal sum first, and then the vocal sum is going to the master. I did this because I wanted to treat all these three vocal tracks at the same time using the same plugins with the same effects, so they feel like they are in the same universe. On the vocal sum track, track, I'd use this VCA compressor from Softube, and I used the vocals preset and mess a little bit with something in here, I don't remember. Pro Q3 I'm not cutting the lows, I'm just doing a low shelf on the lows. Pretty significant low shelf, it's minus 9 dB, bringing the highs a little bit, doing the high shelf. Valhalla room for the reverb on all of them. Soul filter too, I'm using this plugin, I'm testing it out. Instead of using Kickstart, it's basically doing the same thing, the sidechain sound. I do this a lot and I used to use Kickstart, but I'm trying this out. This is also a free plugin and it's really easy to make these LFOs here. So I had the vocals and the Rhodes and the bass. Oh, by the way, for the vocals, I'm not a singer, I don't write lyrics, and I just wanted to mumble stuff. I added so many effects that you cannot really understand what I'm singing, but just so I mumble the same stuff, because when you're stacking vocals, if you're singing the different words at the same time, it gets really messy. I wrote some lyrics. I'm Brazilian, English is not even my first language. I just wrote some stuff so I could mumble at least the same stuff. But it's the first time that I use Fruity Notebook, which is pretty fine. And they have 3 Fruity Notebook, Fruity Notebook, Fruity Notebook 2, and an HTML notebook. What's up with that? But I typed in a little something that came into my head just so I could sing and mumble the same stuff. I'm not really confident with doing vocals. It's fun because I used to use a lot of vocals from Splice, and they're nice, they're fine, they're good vocals, but just knowing that you recorded the vocals yourself, it's cool. Like no one else has those vocals. So I had the bass and the Rhodes and the vocals. This is my bass. I know that this is fine and I could, if I wanted, stop here, but I wanted to keep going. So what I did was to open another instance of Keyscape, use this Celeste, and I just had the vocals, the bass, and the Rhodes repeating, and I just went into my keyboard and started to play melodies and just had it looping, playing more melodies until I come up with this. Like I said, I just had the bass and the Rhodes and the vocals repeating, and this took a couple takes, and when I finished I even added some stuff on top. Like if you look at the velocities, you're gonna see that this transition part, is all in the same velocity. Like this little movement here, I clicked this in, but the other parts of the melody were all played on the keyboard. For the mixing on this, I just had some EQ, cutting the lows, putting the highs a little bit and the high mids a little bit too, flanger, some compression and some more compression, and all of that going into a Valhalla room for the reverb. I wanted to have this dreamy sound just laying in the back, kind of shimmering on top of everything. So this is what the Celeste, how do you pronounce that? I don't know. After I had that, I used another instance of Keyscape. Probably was the same, no, this is another Rhodes sound, and I did the same stuff. I just let this looping, I was on the keyboard just trying to find some more melodies to go on top of this, and this is what I did. Pretty dreamy sound, and after I had this, it was honestly like all that I needed. The cherry on top though was this string sound that I use SRX strings from Roland, and this is just one note, I'm pretty sure, or not, it's 2-3 different notes, and it just acts like a drone basically, and this is how it sounds. good. This is the cherry on top. I do a lot of this. I use SRX strings a ton. It's a really good plugin for string sounds. It's just a simple string line to go on top, and this sample was more about the sound selection itself than the melodies. The melodies are all pretty simple, that most of them I just sat at the keyboard and just let this play for minutes, played some melodies on top and deleted what I didn't want, kept what I wanted, played some more on top of it. I even have the overdub thing on because this is how I was recording. I recorded a single part and then went back, recorded some more, overdub on top of it, more melodies on top of it. Sometimes I came back and added some more by clicking it in. Pretty simple. And I believe this is pretty much it for this sample. This was pretty fun to make. I think this is one of the most fun I had making a sample in the last couple of months. It was just such a chill time. Thank you for sticking with me until the end of the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. It will help me a ton. If you could go on my Instagram and follow me there, it will also help me a ton. If you want to check out outofideas.co for sample packs and one shots, it's the first link in the description. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. Peace. I'm out.